Hello, virtual learners. I have a new Christmas story for you. It's called The Very Snowy Christmas. This book was illustrated by Jane Chapman. She does the bear stories like Bear Snores On, so the illustrations might look kind of familiar to you because she has a certain style that she uses when she's doing pictures. The author of this book is Diana Hendry. Are you ready? Let's find out about The Very Snowy Christmas. It was Christmas Eve. Big Mouse was making cheese pies. Little Mouse was making paper chains. "Merry Christmas to us, Merry Christmas to us," sang Little Mouse. "Big Mouse, can I decorate the Christmas tree now? Can I? Now, something you might not know about me is I love little things. So when I look at pictures of houses that are built just for small things like mice, I love it. I love that their Christmas tree is just a little branch. I love it that the art on their wall is a ticket to something. I love it that their table, they used a spool of thread. I love that those little things help to make their beautiful home. "We'll do it together," said Big Mouse. Little Mouse hung golden acorns and mistletoe berries on the tree. Big Mouse put a star on top. "But we forgot the holly," cried Little Mouse. "I'll go and get some." And off he ran. "Make sure it has nice red berries," called Big Mouse. Little Mouse set off down the path singing, "Jolly holly, holly, jolly, jolly holly Christmas." But there was no holly to be seen on the first corner, and no holly on the second corner, and no holly on the third corner. Do you know what holly is? It's a kind of plant. When you see the picture in the story, I bet you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. So over the bridge ran Little Mouse, and at last he found a holly bush with shiny red berries. He jumped up and down in excitement. "Oh, jolly holly, holly, jolly, jolly holly Christmas," sang Little Mouse, stretching high on his toes to reach some. So that right there, that's holly. Holly is a plant that a lot of people use when they're decorating for Christmas. Also, when I talked about those little things, take a look at the bridge that he went across. What is that bridge made out of? It's just the perfect size for a mouse, isn't it? But suddenly, soft white flakes began falling all around him. One flake fell on Little Mouse's nose and made him sneeze. "Goodness me," said Little Mouse. "The sky is coming undone." As Little Mouse hurried home, many more pieces of sky fell down upon him. Faster and faster they fell. They fell on his ears and his whiskers and his tail. Oh dear, said Little Mouse. "I'd better take some of this home to show Big Mouse. He'll know how to stitch the sky together again." Little Mouse made a ball of white flakes and put it in his bucket. Then back over the bridge he hurried. Is it the sky that's falling? You know better than that. Suddenly he saw a strange creature in the water making faces at him. It had lots of ears and a blurry face, and it waved its arms at Little Mouse. "Oh, it's a mouse nest monster," squeaked Little Mouse, and he fell on his bottom. "Oh, I wish Big Mouse was here," he cried, scrambling up. Back down the path ran Little Mouse, looking over his shoulder to see if the mouse nest monster was following him. It wasn't, but something else was. Little Mouse could see its paw prints coming after him. "Eek! Help! Eek!" squeaked Little Mouse. "Now there's an invisible monster chasing me." Little Mouse ran up and down and around in circles to escape. But the paw prints of the invisible monster went up and down and around after him. Can you take your finger and follow the path that Little Mouse was on? Little Mouse ran and ran. Faster and faster whirled the white flakes, and faster ran Little Mouse. And still the invisible monster followed him. At last Little Mouse saw his house. But there in the garden was a huge white mouse. "Oh, no, no, no!" squeaked Little Mouse. "Another monster waiting to catch me!" Little Mouse trembled and began to cry. But then the front door opened, and there was Big Mouse. Little Mouse leapt into Big Mouse's arms. Big Mouse, he cried. "The sky has come undone, and look," he wailed, pointing to the paw prints. "An invisible monster has been following me, and there was a terrible mouse nest monster in the water, and now that scary white mouse is staring at me." "Oh, Little Mouse," said Big Mouse, "the sky hasn't come undone. It's snowing. And there aren't any monsters. Those are your paw prints. And that mouse nest monster was your reflection in the water. Look!" And Big Mouse showed Little Mouse his face in a puddle. "And this is a snow mouse I made to welcome you home," he said. "Let's make another." And so they did. "Snow is magic!" cried Little Mouse. "Yes," said Big Mouse. "Santa Claus likes snow too." Little Mouse jumped up and down. "Will he be here soon? Can I hang up my stocking now?" "You can," said Big Mouse. "Let's go and get warm first." So in they went and warmed their paws by the fire. Little Mouse hung up his stocking, and Big Mouse hung up his stocking too. The holly berries shone in the firelight. "It's almost Christmas," said Little Mouse. "Holly jolly, jolly holly Christmas." And he wiggled his warm toes. In this story, poor Little Mouse felt very, very scared. He thought that the sky was falling, that there was a mouse nest monster, that an invisible monster was following him, and then that great big monster was blocking his house and staring at him. But after he talked to Big Mouse, he found that all of those things were just things that he was worried about. The grown-up in his life could help him understand what was happening around him. Sometimes there might be things in your life that feel big and scary or make you feel worried. Take some advice from Little Mouse. Talk to the grown-up in your life. Tell them about what you're worried about. I bet that they can help show you that those great big worries you have don't have to be so big. Thanks for enjoying my story, The Very Snowy Christmas.